apa keteknya? Oh.
To the Engineering Business Summit. My name is Cindy Putri.
Recording in progress.
And I'm deeply honored to be your MC for this event. Today, we gather here to delve into a topic of important supply chains and logistical aspect in an ASEAN integrated model. Before we proceed, let us begin this special occasion by showing our respect and unity through the singing of the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya, which will be followed by the PII March.
Insinyur Indonesia senantiasa menjunjung tinggi integritasnya, bekerja sungguh-sungguh dengan semangat profesionalismenya, utamakan keluhuran budi, amalkan ilmu dengan kompetensi, berikan yang terbaik, selalu yang terbaik sebagai karya baktimu. Teruslah berjuang membangun Indonesia, sejahterakanlah bangsa dan negara. PII Persatuan Insinyur Indonesia. Insinyur Indonesia senantiasa menjunjung tinggi integritasnya, bekerja sungguh-sungguh dengan semangat profesionalismenya, utamakan keluhuran budi, amalkan ilmu dengan kompetensi, berikan yang terbaik, selalu yang terbaik sebagai karya baktimu. Teruslah berjuang membangun Indonesia, sejahterakanlah bangsa dan negara. Teruslah berjuang membangun Indonesia. berintegritas, kompeten dan profesional, bertanggung jawab sepenuh hati. Kami insinyur Indonesia, kami menerangi negeri, mempersatukan Nusantara, membuka cakrawala dunia. Kami insinyur Indonesia, kami memajukan bangsa, mensejahterakan masyarakat untuk kemanusiaan semesta alam. Kami insinyur Indonesia, siap membangun bangsa.
Today, we gather to discuss the sustainable development of electrical vehicle in ASEAN. We are proud to propose the Avio EV platform, fostering collaboration among Avio members to make ASEAN a regional EV hub. Let's explore supply chains and logistics in the integrated model. Our goal, a sustainable and efficient EV ecosystem. Now let's begin with the opening speech from President of PII, Dr. Insinyur Danis Hidayat Sumadilaga.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Praise and gratitude we pray to the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us the opportunity to gather at this extraordinary moment. I am on behalf of the Institution of Engineers Indonesia, PII, congratulate to the organizer of the Asian Engineering Business Summit, the AVEO Committee, and the management of the Institution of Engineers Indonesia for organizing this second FGD event with the theme Supply Chains and Logistical Aspect in ASEAN Integrated Model. My warm gratitude to ladies and gentlemen participants on this second FGD as part of ASEAN Engineering Business Summit event. Transportation accounts for approximately 20% of global energy-related greenhouse gas emission, and road transport makes up 72% of that, according to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. To combat climate change, governments around the world have adopted increasingly stringent emission limits for light-duty vehicles like passenger cars. While the industry has historically met this higher standard through incrementally improving the internal combustion engine (ICE), vehicle aerodynamics, and tire technology, proposed regulation in some automotive markets will require a dramatic change. As PwC observed, Europe and China will lead to the way on EV adoption. England and France both intend to ban the sale of fossil fuel power vehicle by 2040, and Germany is offering sizable financial incentive to prod consumer to purchase EVs. For its part, China, the world's largest automobile market, began requiring at least 10% of new car sales be fully electric or plug-in hybrid started in 2019. Due to the global nature of the automotive supply chain, OEMs and their suppliers should prepare for the shift towards EVs and away from ICE vehicles regardless of where they are based. Ladies and gentlemen, In Indonesia perspective, the development of EV ecosystem in Indonesia need to be pushed forward as the country moving away from fossil fuel to more cleaner energy source. Indonesia has plenty of nickel reserve used as a cathode material and abundant of petroleum coke as raw material to make synthetic graphite for anode raw material for EV battery production. This is being initiated by Pertamina Kilang International. The bauxite material to be turned into aluminum as well as the steel and other ferromaterial for this EV production. We are fully aware that PT Indonesia Baterai Corporation will elaborate further the integrated manufacturing model which considered to be implemented in the ASEAN region. We also recognize the role of PLN in providing the EV charging infrastructure in different cities in Indonesia. This program is one of the key efforts to develop further the EV ecosystem implemented throughout Indonesia. ASEAN needs to come up with ASEAN integrated model on EV supply chain and logistical aspect. Global OEM and suppliers, including ASEAN players that are not ready to meet the challenge that rising EV adoption will bring, could present a risk to automobile manufacturers at the same time as their own business is evolving. It will be wise for OEMs to future-proof their supply chain to determine if key suppliers are taking the necessary step to maintain their place as valuable partners in a changing world. In Indonesia perspective, having EC manufacturers establish their factories in Indonesia is becoming more realistic and economically viable as Indonesian natural resources can provide raw materials for an anode and cathodic component as well as steel and aluminum components. The regulation is more friendly for the EV manufacturer to invest as well as the competitive labor wage will enable to investors to build up their high-scale manufacturing plant. Therefore, this FGD is expected as great momentum to provide more insights on manufacturing economic, cost curve, and production capabilities to compete in global market. Ladies and gentlemen, we certainly expect the series of FGDs inviting all stakeholders in this EV business development will give us more insight, ideas, and innovation to bring this concept into reality in the scale of ASEAN. On this occasion, allow us to say again that as a large organization, we should be proud that PI has just celebrated its 71st birthday on last May 23rd. PII in its journey has transformed into a professional engineering organization through the mandate of Law 11/2014 has achieved various important milestones which include international recognition PII as part of the International Engineering Alliances, PII in 2021 through the Indonesian Accreditation Board of Engineering Education has become a full signatory member of Washington Accord, truly an extraordinary achievement as a result of the collaboration of all elements and components of PII. Also, the significant increase in PII members to approximately 80,000 this year was driven by the support of the leaders of national and private companies in registering their staff with engineering degrees. Also, increasing the number of professional engineers to 25,000, which include hundreds of foreign engineers practicing engineering in Indonesia. Increasing the number of professional engineers registered with the ASEAN Engineer Register to more than 2,200 engineers. Establishment of PI overseas chapter such as PI in Singapore, Malaysia, Kuwait, United States, Australia, and others in order to provide maximum support for increasing the mobility of Indonesian engineers to work and practice engineering in Indonesia. PEE support in supporting university in implementing the Engineer Profession Program, PPE, which has currently produced more than 70,000 engineers through this program. PEE signed a mutual recognition agreement with Engineers Australia as a form of economic cooperation between Indonesia and Australia. The signing of the MRA, which took place in Australia a few weeks ago at Engineer Australia National Office and was included in the joint communique between Australia and Indonesian government as a result of the President Joko Widodo state visit to Sydney, Australia from 3 to 5 of July 2023. All the above achievements certainly due to the cooperation of all components and elements of the Institution of Engineers Indonesia, PEE. Kindly allow us again to express our deepest gratitude to the FGD organizer by raising the topic supply chain and logistical aspect in ASEAN integrated model, which is also one of the contemporary engineering issues in Indonesia and ASEAN as a form of commitment to continue to encourage our ASEAN engineers to continuously contribute their thoughts to the society, nation, and country, and also updating their knowledge and developing their professionalism. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God Almighty, always guide and protect all of our steps in realizing our common goal. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Madilaga, for your insightful words, your leadership and dedication to engineering excellence are truly inspiring. Next, we will move on to our panel discussion and presentation, which will shed light in various topics within the field of engineering. This discussion aims to foster collaboration, innovation, and the exchange of knowledge among professionals in attendance. The discussion will be moderated by Mr. Michael Gautama, which is Vice Chairman, International Committee Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Michael Gautama to the stage.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you. It's an honor again to be here this afternoon. We just returned from Bangkok to have a midterm CAFEO. CAFEO is a conference on the ASEAN Federation of Engineering Organizations. Again, just to summarize, the event of this FGD and Engineering Business Summit is part of the AFEO program in responding to ASEAN leaders' declaration on May 11 to make ASEAN as the central hub for EV production. Therefore, AFEO going to be preparing a complete proposal, a platform, as we call it, ASEAN Integrated and Highly Efficient Manufacturing and Life Cycle Platform. This is the second session of the preparation of the summit document. The first, we have done it on July the 4th, which titled Economic Analysis of EV on Life Cycle and ASEAN Integrated Manufacturing Model. Today, we are continue with the logistical aspect. We titled today events as the supply chain and logistical aspect in the ASEAN integrated model. This aspect is super important in that if we look at the landscape of ASEAN countries' logistical performance index, Singapore ranked 1, Malaysia ranked 26, Thailand ranked 34, Philippines 43, Vietnam 43, Indonesia 61, Cambodia 115, Laos 115, and we see such a wide spread of the logistical performance index and how we make sense of all of this into integrated model, which is super efficient to make ASEAN as the EV centers. Today we're going to have 6 experts six experts to go to talk about this aspect. Can you show my slide, please? Yeah. So basically today, to bring the framework into our mind, it's very important that I remind that we are engineers. We are not politicians. We are not economics. We speak technical aspect today, and I prepare a simple slide on the computer. As you can see, there is basically today topic of discussion on logistical aspect and supply chain. I would like later on to discuss about how you do optimizations, and hopefully, we do some partial differential equation optimizations, and if possible, some machine learning optimizations. So let's put that in perspective. We are having a technical discussion today, and I'm pleased to call on Engineer Made Danatangkas. He's the president of Automotive Institute Indonesia. He's going to talk about supply chain of automotive industries, history, evolution, and proposed model for ASEAN EV manufacturing. Pak Made, floor is yours, please. You have 15 minutes, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Prof. Michael. Is it okay for me to presentation? Okay.
Pak Made, are you there?
Okay. Can you listen my voice? Hello? Hello?
Pak
Yes,
Made,
okay.
are you there?
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm in the... Okay,
If
can
Pak
you
Made is not there,
see me? Nggak kedengaran ya?
he is
Belum? Okay, I'm here ya.
yeah, he's in, but some technical challenge here.
Hello?
Yes, Pak Made, can you hear? And the floor
Yeah.
is yours, Pak. Please go ahead, Pak. Thank you, Pak Made.
Okay.
For
Okay, thank
we
you.
are pleased to having you with us today. Please, Pak. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Michael. Today is a very good occasion for me. I'm Made Danatangkas from Indonesia. As president of Indonesian Automotive Institute, I'd like to present and share what is the program for the supply chain and logistic and the manufacturing aspect in conjunction with the EV integrated model. May I share the material? Okay. Everybody, can you see? Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity to explain what is in the supply chain and manufacturing aspect for the EV ASEAN integrated model. So as we know well, of course, as already mentioned by Dr. Danis, Pak Danis, in the opening of this FBG or seminar, I think this is very important for us, how to build the ASEAN, the engineering business, particularly for the EV. And this is also later will be related with the leveraging on the automotive technology and also the industry 4.0 and green energy industry as well. And of course, today in this short time, I will present here for the 3 points. The first is related with our business and industry condition. As already mentioned by Professor Michael, that supply chain and logistic index in ASEAN, of course, the Singapore is the best, and also have the other country, Malaysia or Thailand and Vietnam and Philippines. Yeah, of course, we will consider that become one of these how to make the integrated model. And the other, we need to improve also our global competitiveness. in conjunction not only for the logistics supply chain, but the ability to manufacture the vehicle or the electrified vehicle itself. And the other, I will talk later about the automotive manufacturing hub and how to integrate all of the aspects become the best model in ASEAN. And the first, I'd like to share you what is the condition of the demand and supply, and also what is our position and the challenge in the world-class industry and in the business. Yeah, as you know well, recently we are facing not only ASEAN region, but also we face with the other region, country by country, and also the territorial by territorial. Like here in Indonesia and ASEAN, we have the AFTA, and also we have the AFTA plus 3 with the China and also the Japan and Korea and South Korea, and the other territorial have the COMESA in the Africa and also Mercosur in the South of America, as well as in the NAFTA in the North America, and in the Middle East also we have the GCC Gulf country concern. So that impacted for our total supply chain and logistic, because our product not only used for the ASEAN market, ASEAN customer, also will be used for the other customer. For example, from Indonesia, we have been exporting to 84 countries in the world. So that product consists of the vehicle itself and also the component and spare part as well. And recently, we are facing with this kind of the condition, and of course, as your information from Indonesia last year, we have export volume is the higher volume if compared with the previous year, around 400 unit in 2020. And then also, I think also for the Thailand, yeah, have the big volume for the export of the vehicle, more than 1 million in the 2022. Therefore, our big challenge here in conjunction with the demand and supply, how to build, how to think for our product will be more innovative product, and then also more capability in the manufacturing to obtain the best product quality, as well as the cheaper price, and also the how to make on-time delivery. That is very important for us. So I think that that's a challenge we should consider. And of course, during these 3 years pandemic COVID, we are facing a big problem for this. And then this is the good time we can rise up our activities to be the more better, more efficient, and particularly for the ASEAN, I believe we need the integrated model, integrated ecosystem, because among us, we should also put the product should be produced in ASEAN area, not in other area. So I think today also our friend, yeah, from Malaysian Automotive Institute also will explain such kind of, as you know well, might be like Tesla, yeah, will put the marketing, the office of the marketing in Malaysia. So I think that is the point we would like to emphasize in this discussion. Yeah, particularly also we look at the condition of the Indonesian and Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, and Singapore. These 6 countries is the big the big market, yeah, in the ASEAN, while also, of course, other remain country is also have their market in domestic asset. And we cannot also deny. We should consider that FTA, free trade agreement, and economic partnership. Also, we should consider not only internal ASEAN but also with other countries. Therefore, this has become the big issues also for our supply chain and logistic. Particularly, as you know well, yeah, in the last time we have the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, but now shifting to be the RCEP, RCEP. So this RCEP also we will consider, and then the point of our consideration today is how to make the ASEAN to be the manufacturing part, manufacturing hub, like already all of us know well, yeah, that the trade of ASEAN now in Thailand, yeah. But of course, we should put together the ASEAN become a good partnership, yeah, among the ASEAN countries. And the other thing we need to consider our business challenges, such kind of the market acceptance, what is our product, what is our demand, and how many unit, what is the product technology, as well as we should comply with the global environment. And of course, recently we have to consider the customer protection law. That means as an engineer in ASEAN, we should support how to be the ASEAN, to become the manufacturing and to be the R&D center in the future. That means we should have the knowledge and also have the scale, yeah, and also we have to the high technology in order to produce to making the vehicle asset. Yeah, I think this is that's our recent problem also in the not only in Indonesia but also the ASEAN and also the other market in the world. Yeah, while we understand the order of the vehicle can be used now using the digital or virtual marketing or digital marketing, and also our process and production also, will use more higher technology and more using the artificial intelligence as well, and we should create the more innovation in our product. And the big challenge for us is how to develop the ecosystem, as already mentioned by Pak Danis, yeah, in the introduction of our meeting. I think this is also need to consider end-to-end. How to be the center, how to be the center of the industry. Yeah, I think this is we need to consider ASEAN as the center of industry, while the condition of the process and the product also we should consider from end to end, from the raw material and the supplier, vendor, or the material itself until the production, manufacturing, assembling, and the marketing, distribution. And then we will bring the product for domestic market as well as to other countries. Yeah, this kind of the activities we need to consider ASEAN, yeah, as a global hub, global manufacturing hub, and also the global supply chain hub. And in conjunction with our engineering, we understand that how to make a car and how to make the product and how to prepare the process and how to bring this kind of the integrated product and process and the customer, as well as we have the off-taker, the marketing function, and also we have the R&D to prepare the product itself. And finally, based on the demand and supply, by day, by weekly, by monthly, or by annually, we can produce our product and then we should deliver to our customer. So as a viewpoint of the engineer, we have also, of course, the knowledge and the bulk of the knowledge to prepare and to build such kind of this condition, yeah, from the product itself and the process of technology, as well as how to deliver to the customer to satisfy our customer. And that is the portion A, the one. I think this is, I believe, to be the understanding what is the recent condition of the demand and supply and the supply chain in our automotive industry in ASEAN. And this second part is about the how to improve the global competitiveness, as well as bring the EV integrated supply chain more better for us. As I mentioned, this product, how to make them more competitive, that is very important. While we recently understand every country is struggling to prepare and to develop the electric vehicle, that is also one of these the challenge we should apply. And while the other country also struggling to prepare the other car, not only electric vehicle, but also hydrogen. Yeah, that is also, I think, we need to consider for the future movement. And as we understand, in the second phase, yeah, we need to strengthen our global value chain, how to be the product itself, the vehicle itself, and the spare part and the component produced in Indonesia or in ASEAN country. That is our challenge. And the other thing about the role of the game in developing industry, as you know well, from the stage one or revolution industry stage one, like we make the changing from the agriculture or from the horsepower to be the machinery to motive, have a motive power to drive the vehicle. And then after that, we change that kind of the activities. We call the fourth lift, fourth lift, the lift of the fourth. And then the second is we call the zone lift. Yeah, this is for the mass production. How to make the single purpose machine, high volume, and still using the push system. The push system and also the variant of the product is very limited, and we have the specific job for the operator, and also we focus for the machine is first. So this condition also changing recently in the 1980 or 1990 to be the lean lip, we call the lean production, lean lip. This also learned from the America, USA, how to change the process, the manufacturing with the high volume and many variant of the product, and the multi-purpose machine and multifunction worker, and from push system shifting to be the pull system. And of course, the material is the first. And this is like the state of our automotive industry. And finally, recently we are facing with the unbundling, but we call the revolution industry 4.0. This is also we need to consider what will be happen for the demand and supply, what is the product technology, and what is the process technology, as well as what is the chain management or the change point in our manufacturing, as well as in the supply chain. And as you know well, recently in ASEAN countries also we have the same understanding with the other country from the Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam as well. How to change the ICE product, internal combustion engine product, for more low emission car, and also for more efficient energy car. So changing the small car to be the CO2 reduction, and finally also later come to the electrification. And this electrified vehicle is very also important in the ASEAN. This is the program in the 2020 or 22 and up to the 2025 or 2027. And in line with that, we also consider how to build the smart plant, smart factory, considering from the logistic 4.0 or supply chain for 4.0 and the process itself, and supported by the integrated system using the big data. And also finally, we have to consider also the cyber security, as well as IoT in the manufacturing, 3D printing, nanotechnology, robot, and autonomous vehicle. And this is also need to be obtained to our supply chain, and also the manufacturing of the EV or other car in the near future. So this is also I have discussed several times with our partner from Malaysia and Thailand. And just for your reference, we are going to establish also the ASEAN Automotive Institute Federation. I believe this has become also one good channel for all of us to how to work together to bring more better future for the ASEAN automotive industry. And beside of such kind of the system, we should aware for our product how to be the best product, and also the best operational excellent company, how to make better values in our process, as well as we should comply with the world-class company, how to be the world-class company, the player in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Thailand, in Singapore, Vietnam, and Philippines. I believe this is also the challenge of the engineer to change our paradigm, to change our mindset, not only thinking about the engineering itself, but how to change to be the engineering business, business engineering. This is also the big thing we need to consider as a country. Of course, Thailand, from the Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, putting the Thailand become the Detroit of ASEAN. And of course, in Malaysia, Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad also have the Proton for the national car. And also of course the Indonesian, we put also some product last time collaboration with the Malaysia for the filled vehicle. Still going. So I believe this has become the product of the engineer from the ASEAN in the future. from now on in the future. Then thinking for the engineering and also the innovation, how to increase our technology capability in ASEAN. That is very important. We should think for the product technology as well as the process technology. While we think that point, of course, recently we also need to consider what is our business and industry perspective. We should develop and build our company and our industry in ASEAN together, supported by this the best engineer we have in ASEAN. Yeah, we have some thinking way like making in the box with the benchmarking, or the thinking way out of the box, and of course the other thinking way is no box. Yeah, this is need the creativity and innovation from all of us. So then the last, I think this is the summary of my presentation. Of course, we need to consider integrated industry system in ASEAN. How to think about the policy management, how to think about human resources. That is very important. We should have the competency, and we should have the technology, like also to develop the R&D in our ASEAN. Yeah. If available in Indonesia, can be used for the other country. If available in the Malaysia, can be used for the other for Thailand or for Indonesia. And if available in the Thailand, that kind of R&D facility we can use for other country. And the other important thing also building the upstream and intermediate industry is very important. We have a lot of resources in ASEAN countries. How to utilize for us? How to make? How to use all of these resources to be the benefit, to be the best output and outcome for the ASEAN people? That is also the one thing we need to discuss today. And then the other utilize the raw material and material to be to increase also the added values. This is very important, and we should consider local content in ASEAN. I have discussed with many automotive association in ASEAN how to increase more than 40% in each country. So therefore we can get zero import duty. And the other, we need to build network and also how to be the best global supply chain based in ASEAN. That is also the thing we need to reconsider for our country in ASEAN countries. And as I already explained, we build the best ecosystem, considering the human resources, considering the infrastructure, road, testing facility, and will provide the best transportation equipment, and transportation vehicle. And finally, also we consider the manufacturing itself. From the primary industry, secondary industry, and tertiary industry, and also from the upstream industry, intermediate industry, and downstream industry. This is very important for us. And finally, we need to make innovation strategy and the manufacturing strategy. How to be the best manufacturing in the world, how to be the most efficient and most productive operation in the world, and the best operational excellent industry in the world. So we need to think for the customer and product life cycle, on demand type based on the supply chain management, as we talk today, very important. What is the integrated model for the supply chain, and also should be linked with the customer relation management, as well as we should manage all aspects from production and system integration, and also the market, not only in domestic but also regional and the global market. Therefore, as an engineer, we should consider the driver for the mega trend and new normal condition after pandemic COVID. As a physical, we will face with the autonomous vehicle, 3D printing, advanced robot, and new material. And as a digital viewpoint, also we are fetching with the Internet of Things, IoT, and also blockchain, digital platform, artificial intelligence. And for the biological, we fish with the synthetic biology and healthcare. Then as a product, also we should consider what is the prime mover of the product. Yeah, in Indonesia, also in others country have the same thing. Yeah, low cost and green car, or low carbon and emission vehicle. And recently we have the battery electric vehicle with the battery motor and inverter. And of course, in the future also fuel cell electric vehicle with the hydrogen. This is very important for us to consider the product, and also the policy in each country, how to integrate and how to make become good understanding and a good program for all of us. Yeah, I remember in 2005 we had one tooling and one testing. That means if the tooling test available in Malaysia, we can use, and if in Indonesia, also Malaysia can use for Indonesia, and Philippines and Thailand also the same thing we can do. So such kind of the policy we need to also discuss later. Yeah, I hope from the engineer, ASEAN engineer, we can later make some contribution. And the product itself also we should consider the small, the medium,
Pak
and
Made,
also the
I'm
big.
sorry, Pak Made, we're closing
Yeah.
to 4 p.m. How many slides still
Okay,
to go?
yeah, almost finished. Okay, as I mentioned, the demand and supply that we have also to integrate the database among its countries in ASEAN, and also not only the data of the vehicle, also for the data of the technology and the product technology and the process technology. And the process also we should follow along of the process in developing the vehicle, very long process, and also need more higher technology. And finally, we should convince to customer or to our to the product that our product is should be zero defect. And also our process should be zero breakdown, yeah, and also bring the best safety for our product and our process. And then in conjunction with the supply chain, also we consider how to make the supply chain become the integrated supply chain, not like island by island. Yeah. So in ASEAN, last time we have the like a mutual MRA, mutual recognition agreement, and also we also not only apply in the technology but also in the operation, like this supply chain. We need to capture for our model in ASEAN. And finally, also we beside of this supply chain, we should have the best product for our customer, by making the best quality, built-in quality, best inspection, and also finally no defect outflow to the customer. Every product can use safety, comfortability, and also can make the best experience for our customers. Yeah, I think that's all. My presentation today for supply chain and manufacturing aspect in making the EV integrated model in ASEAN. That's all. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamade. Thank you so much. We have a challenge of time. Can you show my slide, please? I just want to remind that today we are discussing ASEAN integrated and highly efficient manufacturing and life cycle platform. In responding to ASEAN leaders' declaration from technical perspective, we are to offer the platform, technical platform. So please kindly focus on that. And as mentioned before, we need quantitative analysis. Just I give you an example earlier, logistical performance index is spread very large in ASEAN. From Singapore ranked the 1 to Laos and Cambodia ranked 115. Indonesia in the middle ranked 61. How are we going to optimize? How are we going to optimize an integrated model that we are in comparative advantage with China? Because without which we are forced to import. And this is the dreams of the ASEAN leaders. Again, we are a technical organization. Let's talk on the box there. We have two big functions there. Primary activities of the logistical and supply chain and support activities. In each of this area, we can do quantitative analysis on it. We can do system analysis. We can do data analytic on it. I hope I will see some data analytic on each of these small box and how each component interact with each other. We call it system approach. So without further ado, I'll call a second speaker. It's engineer from Malaysia, Engineer Asrul Reza bin Aziz, MBA. He is a CEO of Malaysian Automotive Robotic and IoT Institute, MARI. Because time of challenge time, we really implore you to stick to your 15 minutes, please. We're really 40 minutes behind schedule now. We are 40 minutes behind schedule. So later on discussion, I'll cut it down, but you still have 15 minutes, please. Don't go beyond that. Thank you. The floor is yours, Pak Asrul. Thank you. Pak Asrul, can you hear?
Maybe Pak
hello.
Asrul. Yeah, okay.
Hi everyone, sorry, I'm Nasruddin. I will represent my CEO to present the EV development in Malaysia.
Again, Pak, we are a technical organization. Please, we stick to some quantitative analysis. Refrain to giving too much political or economics comment. Thank you.
Let me share my file first.
Okay, good. Sir, please go ahead. Please go ahead. You are on screen now.
Yeah, sorry,
Yes,
I
we all
can't
can
find
see
my.
you.
Yeah, I know.
You're on screen now. Everybody see you.
Okay.
Can you share now?
Yeah.
It's on. You already
I'm
co-host.
trying. Okay. First of all, I think I'm sorry because I think my slide is not going to touch more about the technical aspect because I got this invitation in last minute. I just prepared this slide just now. But anyhow, I will share with you about the EV developments in Malaysia. So basically, before that, I would like to introduce Mari. Mari is the Malaysia Automotive Robotic and IoT Institute. We are the agency under the Ministry of Investment and Industry in Malaysia, which we lead the developments of automotive sector in Malaysia. And we're also focusing on the overall mobility ecosystem through adoption of robotic and also IoT. I think some history about the automotive industry in Malaysia. We started with the development of Proton in 1985. Until 2010, there is no agencies that lead the developments of the automotive industry. So we established in April 2010 and our headquarters in Cyberjaya. So we more on the think tank, focal point, and also technology enablers, whereby we are bridging between the academia, industry, and also governments. And of course, we would like to continue development of national automotive sector, which the development of the automotive sector is purely run by the local SMEs in Malaysia, and therefore there are needs for developments of the sector, whereby the application of the IoT, robotics, and big data is the main activities that aligned with the NAP 2010. And we also to engage and mobilize the collective effort among the stakeholders. And we also conduct some strategic research in the field of automotive, robotic, and also IoT. And from that, we input the policy recommendation to the government and to industry. So in terms of assisting the industry developments, we established a few technology centers. We have the Mari Additive Technology Center, focusing on the additive manufacturing. We also have the Mari Simulation Analysis Center. We have the Mari Academy of Technology, focusing on the talent development. We also have the National Admission Test Center, and also the Mari Design Center. This center that being established in Malaysia is to spur the developments of automotive industry. We would like to make the local SMEs or local national vendors to embark into the innovation and also research and development. Talking about the next gen vehicle, as you know that we already announced the National Automotive Policy 2020, that the focusing is to become a hub for the next gen vehicle. So next gen vehicle meaning that we have the energy efficient vehicle, hybrid electric vehicle, as well as the autonomous and also mobility as a service. So as you can see, we target to get the minimum of level 3 vehicle automation, and also currently focusing on the energy efficient vehicle, which means that you need to fulfill some of the requirement of the carbon emission as well as the fuel consumption. And of course, the factor of the contributing to EV adoption, of course, because of the carbon emissions, and the transport sector is mostly the second biggest driver of the CO2 emissions. And of course, to support the SDGs as well as the to reduce the climate change. And for EV development in Malaysia, we have the collaborative partnership with many ministry and also agencies. For example, like MITI itself is focusing on the developments of EV and also component. MOF, Ministry of Finance, focusing on the EV procurement. MOT, Ministry of Transport, focus on the EV public and land and transport. And RECC is the the natural resources, environment, and climate change. It's focusing on the EV infrastructure development. Mostly is the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, focused on EV technology developments. KPKT is focusing on EV charging installation and procedure. So all this ministry is collaborating together, and we focus on the, for example, like charging point regulation, facilities, investment, talent development, and others. As you can see, based on the EV stakeholders is also supporting by the policy, infrastructure, vehicle and component makers. For now, we have many policy initiatives being aligned to spur the developments of EV. And also the infrastructure, we have also the public or private sector to support, for example, like Charge EV, EVC, Shell, and others. And vehicle right now, we have about 5 to 6 manufacturers that already embarked in manufacture the EV vehicle in Malaysia. And also the component makers, we also have various of the manufacturing parts and components that are related to the EV. And also others like education, university, and also service operator and others. Some introduction of EV landscape. For now, we have some national target to achieve the EV. For example, like as commitment to the United Nations to reduce the carbon emission by 45% by 2030. And also Malaysia also like to achieve the net zero carbon emission by 2010 as outlined in the 12th Malaysia Plan. And also we target for the vehicle sales target for XEV by 2030, passenger vehicle and also commercial vehicle at 15% of PIV, motorcycle 50%, bus also 20%. And the total of XEV share is around 38% by 2040. And also we target to have around 10,000 units of charging facilities by 2025. And for everyone information that this is the achievement of the EV landscape in Malaysia in 2022. So for XEV, which comprises of EV and also hybrid and also plug-in hybrid, we achieve around 2.77%. Motorcycle is around 0.06%, bus about 0.8%, and also charging station around 978 charging station. So for information, last year we achieved the highest target, the highest numbers, around 720,000 vehicles sold. So this is the main OEM in EV sales in Malaysia. As everyone know that Tesla is coming in Malaysia, and surprisingly they can offer some affordable Model Y vehicle, and we have many others vehicle also coming in Malaysia, for example like Neta and others. And for now, the distribution of the EV chargers in Malaysia is focusing more on the west side of Malaysia. So for now, we already achieved 978 public charging station, which comprises of 800 for AC and also 100 for DC. And this is the charging network as I mentioned just now. So collaboration between the private is also important for this developments of EV charging network. For example, like Jom Charge, EVC and also BMW is collaborating together, focusing more on the longest highway in west side of Malaysia. Porsche focus on the supercharged charging station, which can support up to 180 kilowatt charging station. And also Gentari is a subsidiary for the Petronas, the local or Malaysian petrol station in Malaysia. So the main policies on EV is we have a lot of policies that support the EV development. For example, like NAP is there, low carbon mobility blueprint, national transport policy, national energy policy, RMK 12, intelligent transport system blueprint, and finally we also established the national EV task force to streamline the strategies and initiative on EV. from various ministry and also agency. And under a national automotive policy, of course, focusing on the previous framework to become, to enhance the supply chain development, to have a safe and secure environment, and also to develop the human capital. And this is coming with the new element for the NAP 2020, which focusing on the next gen vehicle, IR 4.0, and also mobility as a service. And we also focus as well on the connectivity and also mobility. So the NAP 2020 vision is to support the supply chain integration, focus on the Malaysia to become the hub for export of a vehicle, and also the parts and component. And number 2 is to enhance the local manufacturing of a vehicle and components. And number 3 is to enhance the local engineering, especially in R&D and also testing. And also, we have to adapt and adopt the latest technology trend through application of IR 4.0. And lastly, to have a sustainable development of the automotive industry through application of friendly environmental products and also process that will reduce the carbon emission and etc. And under NAP also, we also mentioned about the critical parts and component that we believe will be important towards 2030. So we encourage all our local vendors to participate in developments of these critical parts and components. And also, of course, focus on the EV. So there are several components that also being developed and researched. For example, like Mari itself, we have some research in battery management system and also the battery and also charging point. And to ensure that the competitiveness of the supply chain itself, we established a roadmap for the local supplier to increase their capabilities, whereby we set the minimum target for them to have at least supplier competitiveness level of level 3, whereby level 3 is focusing more on the process design, level 4 is focused more on the product design, and level 5 is more on the R&D capabilities. So this is the roadmap that we put to make sure that our suppliers equip enough technology and knowledge so that to achieve the target of the NAP 2020 to become hub for export. So this is the things that they need to focus on. And of course, to encourage the investor, especially for those that looking for the CKD manufacturing in Malaysia, we need to have a very competitive supplier. So we need to ready the supplier before we can promote to the new investor or new vehicle manufacturer that we have the capabilities and our local supplier can produce their vehicles. And currently we have around 30 suppliers that ready or potential to produce the EV parts as we mentioned previously. And to support the developments of the supplier itself, we have several programs. For example, like supplier excellence program, lean process system. We also have the CEO growth mindset program that focus on the CEO itself. We also focus on the computer-aided engineering training, industry for technology platform, simulation, and all these activities is to ensure that our supplier is equipped enough technology and also knowledge to make them more competitive. And this is the training.
Yeah. Our time
This
is
is the
running
training.
out. How many slides is
Okay,
still have?
another 5 slides.
Can you do quickly, please? We really
Okay, sure,
run
no
out of time.
problem.
We have 6 more
Okay,
speakers.
so this is the
and we have
training for
40 minutes
the
to go.
local
Yeah.
Okay, this is training for the talent development. Of course, if you want to adopt a new technology, you need to equip the talent with the suitable knowledge and also skills. So this is the training that we focus, including the low skill to until the engineer level. And we also develop the few standards to ensure that focusing on the energy efficient vehicle requirements, next gen vehicles for aftermarket and etc. and also the standards for the passenger vehicle for EV, electric motorcycle, electric bicycle, and etc. And the national occupation skill standards is important as a guideline for the training the employee so that they achieve some specific competency. And I think that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much from Malaysia. Our time is very challenging. May I remind that our speakers, can you cut down your slides to 15 minutes? Really, I do not know how to do. We are at 4:20. We must finish in 5:40, and we have 2 sessions of discussions. Please, speakers, please adjust your number of slides. And again, the focus to be on ASEAN Integrated Manufacturing Center as required by ASEAN leaders. ASEAN leaders. So the context is ASEAN's, not any particular company or organization. It's ASEAN, and how to do it efficiently that we can be comparatively advantaged with China. Given the numbers that I quote, the spread out the number of efficiency or logistical aspect of ASEAN country is very wide. Has anybody do any system analysis, any system optimizations? Please give us some numbers. The next speaker will be Professor Insinyur Nyoman Pujawan. He is the professor from Institute of Technology, 10 November, Indonesia. Professor Nyoman, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Pak, the floor is yours, Pak. You have 15 minutes, Pak, please. Thank you.
Okay, sorry that I cannot open my camera. I'm on the way from the airport, so my assistant will share the slide. Okay, Atma, can you share it? I think I didn't get the message quite clearly what to expect, so I just heard that you need something very technical on analysis of the supply chain of electric vehicle in Asia, but I think I didn't really prepare for that. I will be very short on giving probably some general insight on that. So can we go to the next slide? So anyway, I'm Nyoman Pujawan. I'm professor of supply chain engineering from Institute Teknologi 10 November, one of the leading public university in Indonesia. Okay, next slide. Can you put it on the full screen? Next slide. Okay, so yeah, I think there are some data that reflects we
sorry,
are still.
Pak Nyoman, can you share your screen, please? Can you share your slides? We cannot see your slides.
Just a minute.
Oh,
is it visible right now?
Turn on your video as well. Yes, now we can see. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Just a minute. Just right. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's much better now. Right. So we are still on a very early stage if we are talking about EV in Asian countries. This is some data from Indonesia that in 2020, we only have 7,600 electric four-wheeler and 26,000 for two-wheelers in Indonesia, while Southeast Asian country wants to have 400,000 electric four-wheelers and 1.8 million battery-powered motorbikes by 2025. So that means that we have to go very fast. We need a very big growth, even we are still at the very beginning stage. Okay, go to the next slide. I will be quite quick. Yeah. Yeah, talking about electric vehicles, I think it is a very sexy business right now. Indonesia, Thailand, and some other countries, including Malaysia, I think have a lot of experience in running automotive industry for the conventional automotive types. So I think the experience that we already have will help very much how we build the ecosystem for the electric vehicle industry in the future. But there is a significant difference when we are talking about the components that we need to build conventional car as well as electric vehicles. Yeah. So this is probably the high level differences between conventional car and electric vehicles in terms of the components needed. And that will have an implication on what kind of supply chain that we need to support the production of the car, because I think we all learn already from the conventional automotive industry that producing cars will need a very strong support from the component, sub-assembly, and system suppliers. So it is not only production of the final product, but it is about building ecosystem that consists of a very strong network of suppliers. All right. Next one. Next slide. Yeah. So a good thing is that if we compare the complexity of the building of the two cars, conventional and electric vehicles, the good news is that electric vehicle is significantly simpler in terms of a number of components used to build a car. So that also means that potentially it can create a cheaper price and probably also less complex supply chain. Yeah. Okay, next slide. If we learn from Tesla, for example, Tesla actually is not only about producing cars. So if we look at the ecosystem that is supporting Tesla business, it consists of two major sectors. One is the automotive itself, and the other one is energy generation and storage, where the two are very much supporting each other. So the automotive sector consists of design, manufacturing, and sales, while in energy generation and storage, Tesla has a solar system, battery production system, and charging station. So this probably provide us some idea that we need to build an ecosystem that is very complete when we are talking about electric vehicles. Okay, next slide. This is the general structure of supply chain in electric vehicles. So of course, it is supported by raw materials and component sourcing. And then in the second stage, it is battery, electric motor, power electric production, which is basically a system sub-assembly. And then go to the final assembly to produce the car. And then downstairs in the supply chain, we have distribution and retail, and then after sales support and services. And then finally, it is also very important to build end-of-life management for recycling of the battery, etc. So this is a complete stage of the supply chain, and we need to build all of those stages in Asia, I believe. Yeah. Next. Now, if you look at the upstream side, we are talking about materials. So materials, we actually have potential supply of materials in Indonesia. So we have nickel in Indonesia. I think Philippines also has nickel. And then we have rare earth in Vietnam. And also, of course, China have lithium, cobalt, graphite, rare earth elements, etc. But of course, we need to import some of the materials. But good news is that Asian countries have some of the materials that is needed to produce electric vehicles. So that is a good news. Yeah. Next stage. Next slide. Now, the question is how Asian countries will contribute to the whole ecosystem. So taking the first three stage is basically the upstream up to the production stage, so raw materials and component sourcing. I believe that can be done in different countries because basically if we are talking about raw material and component sourcing, the production of the components or extraction of the components should be done very close to the source of the material. So I think most countries in Asian countries will be able to contribute on that. While on the second stage, if we are talking about battery, electric motor, and power electric production, it has to be in the country where you have strong research and development. So, well, if we are talking about Asian countries, that probably could be in Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. I forgot to put Singapore there because I was considering that this is physical production. Probably Singapore do not really keen to have that kind of production, but we need a country that is strong in research and development. I was looking at the financial report of Tesla, and I saw that the research and development expenditure was around 8% of its revenue, meaning that we need a very big money to support research and development. And of course, it is not only money, but we need people that will be able to do that. So this should be done in a country that is quite ready to do that. Yeah. And also finally, vehicle assembly and charging infrastructure should be close to the customer base. But I think these are the 4 countries that I think would have a very high potential for production if we are talking about Asian countries. I don't believe that production should be centralized only in one country. Like now, for example, if we are talking about conventional automotive companies, we have in Indonesia, we have in Thailand, we have in Malaysia. So it is not only in one country, because the market itself in Asia is very big. If we take the total of the number of population in Asia, I think it is over 600 million, and that should be spread over different locations in terms of production. It should not be centralized. And every country should be able to contribute. I think even some countries, like, for example, Cambodia and Myanmar, I think Asian leaders should work together to make sure that every Asian countries can contribute to the ecosystem of electric vehicles. So it's not dominated only by 2 or 3 countries. Okay, so we have more slide, I think. Next slide. Yeah, I think that's all. That given that the time is limited, but I don't have any quantitative analysis right now because I didn't really know the expectation at the time I got the invitation. I just prepared some slides. So, but I think this is a good thing that we need to probably to study in the future from the perspective of practice. Engineering perspective as well as from academic perspective. So we need to design a structure that is efficient in the sense that the car that we produce should be affordable by the consumer. But I think also the production activity should be spread over multiple locations, not only centralized in 1 or 2 countries, so giving also economic benefit to every country in Asia. So we are the hub of the market, but we are also the ecosystem of production. I think that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pak Nyoman. Appreciate it. Due to time, the discussion one I'll cut off. I'll take it away because it's impossible to make it on time. I just want to speak 1 minute to remind the speakers. Again, this is a chart that I prepared based on the competitive of nation by Michael Porter. We have 2 main activities on logistical supply chain, primary activities and support activities. And each of these, you can do quantitative optimization, data analysis, and intervariable, you can do as well. We hope that someone doing that. So it is a declaration of ASEAN leaders. They already have a consensus to work together to involve all the ASEAN countries. It's not a particular country. That the spirit is already developed. Now we are engineers to give them technical platform. Again, a technical platform, not commenting on their decisions. We are the technical guy, give how to do it in competitive manner, given the resources, given the spread of geography, given the different efficiency of logistical and supply chain of each country. So without further ado, I'll call to next speakers from Singapore. Singapore, by the way, they do R&D and they are going to manufacture Ionic 6, in case someone do not know. I call our friend Eddie Sung, from board member from Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport Singapore. He was a managing director of Agility International Logistics. Eddie, please give us some numbers on logistic efficiency in ASEAN context. Thank you. Eddie, Eddie, are you there? ADDIE. Eddie? Yeah. Can you find him? Aduh, kita kasih. Can you find Eddie? Eddie, are you there? Eddie? Mute. Eddie, can you unmute yourself and show videos?
I'm trying.
We do a share screen for you.
Yes.
Eddie, are you there?
Can you hear me? Yes, I'm so
okay,
sorry.
Praise God. Okay, Eddie, sorry for the delay on the beginning, but
No
we are
worries.
catching up on time.
Okay.
Thank you again. I appreciate you staying on. I think you listened a lot.
I did.
The floor is yours. Floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll stick to my 15 minutes. I don't have a lot of slides, but basically let me share with you, for example, when we talk about supply chain models, in particular, what are we talking about? So this is roughly the agenda that I'm going to go through. We're talking about, supply chain models. We want to talk about the challenges, and of course, Pak Gautama mentioned, this is an ASEAN effort. So what does that mean? Where the sources are, where the consumption points are. And I also believe Professor Newman also mentioned that, and even Pak Made also did mention a few things around that. So I think that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about, right? So what do we mean by supply chain, right? So we normally talk about, where's the source? How do we make it? Where do we make it? And then, where do we deliver it to? So I was quite happy when I saw the slide from Professor Newman when he talked about raw materials and going to manufacturing, and then you're going into assembly, and then finally reaching the customer. Very much similar to what you're going to see next, which is basically a very simplified, what I call the simplified supply chain. Why do I say it's simplified? Why? Because supply chain isn't just about the physical movement, right? At the end of the day, we all know that physical movement is one aspect of supply chain, but then there's a lot more behind it. We talk about the planning, we talk about the financial flows, and more importantly, the information flow. So I believe, Pak Made mentioned in one of his slides that, we have to look and see how we can, minimize delays at port, or for that matter, delays anywhere, right? And how we're going to do it. Now, what is not mentioned in this slide is the importance of importance of information. So today, most of us take information as granted, right? But actually, information is critical. So as I go down, I'll share with you a little bit more, how we integrate the supply chain within ASEAN itself. And I think we are moving in the right direction by first at least addressing the main concerns, right? And then from here, how we're going to move forward. So again, sourcing and procurement. some of you mentioned, I believe it was Inchek Azru mentioned CKD, SKD. What's that? You know, where do you buy your materials from? So when you source, and we've seen that over and over again, Indonesia and Philippines together command more than 50% of the world's nickel ore deposits. You know, but we also understand, and later maybe I'm jumping a little ahead. How do you get that supply from of the raw material to a manufacturing site for what you would call a value-added activity, right? So because of the raw materials where they are, where will you want to put your manufacturing? So in this case, you know, Professor Newman mentioned it should not be a centralized manufacturing per se. Perhaps you know, the main countries will have their own assembly. And what Pak Gautama mentioned is right. You know, Singapore is going into the assembly of the Hyundai Ioniq 6. And a lot of that parts, a lot of the SKD parts and also CKD parts are actually coming from Indonesia. So that's something that we need to be looking at, you know, decentralized manufacturing. That's one, you know, so where do you have that access point is critical, right? Then again, if we're talking about ASEAN as a you know, as a bloc, it's 600 million people. The potential is there. If we just trade among ASEAN countries per se, I think there's a lot of benefit. That's number one. Plus the fact that we're ASEAN and we're moving towards already a zero tariff type of environment, that makes it a lot more price competitive, right? Now we come to talk about technology. How can technology help? So the ERPs, I'm sure most of you engineers, you work in your own manufacturing environment. You know, I don't need to preach to you about lean manufacturing. I don't need to preach to you about, you know, benefits of an ERP and any other technological support. But that is only one dimension. What do I mean by that? Because between manufacturing, between the manufacturer, the ports, where is that connection? So when we talk about delays, chances are most of the time today, we are still using paperwork, right? We are still not digitizing the information that we have. So for example, the commercial invoice packing list, bill of lading, all that is still paper-based. Now, if we want to move quick, then we need to be looking at, you know, digitizing that portion of it, right? So when it comes to logistics and transport, then the question becomes, what modes do you use, right? Do you use air, sea, land? How? What do you do? And what's the lead time? So lead time in that sense will also differ in that sense, because if the source is further away, it takes a longer time. If it is ocean-based, it also takes a longer time. But if you go air freight, it's more expensive. So you have to balance that little bit of, you know, between the two. When you look at, you know, logistics and transportation, how do you bring them to a manufacturing site, the inbound side of things, right? Then again, once it enters, you know, the manufacturing site, then how are you going to manage that? I'm sure most of you will understand this thing called vendor managed inventory. Now, vendor managed inventory, in other words, the suppliers will put their inventory in the manufacturer and they will only be paid, you know, upon consumption. That makes it, and that's why you need to build an ecosystem within the manufacturing. It's not just, okay, I put a manufacturing in one city and I buy everything from everywhere else, right? You try to localize your sources as much as possible. So before COVID, everybody was talking JIT, just in time, you know, and today everybody is taking a step back and say, hey, we were so lean during COVID that when, you know, borders were shut, factories also shut, right? So now they are moving towards the JIC, which is the just in case, right? But we also don't want to go to the extent to build big buffers. So this is something else that we need to be, you know, mindful of, that there is a in between, you know, certain products where, you know, it's high value, you don't want to hold too much inventory, you want to manage the inventory carrying cost, you probably want to do JIT. And then wherever else that you could, you know, then you want to do a little bit more just in case, building up a little bit of buffer, right? So you need to look at what the strategic sources are that you need to build buffers for. Now, the other thing, of course, then we talk a little bit about, build to forecast, build to order, configure to order, all these kind of things. Engineers, I'm sure you all know what that is about. But basically what you're trying to do there is to build as much to the orders as possible and to have as little leftovers at the end of the whole thing, right? So then the next question is, how do you bring all these to the end markets, the outbound, right? Then the speed to market is very important. We also know during COVID that if you buy a car in Singapore, it takes up to 12 to 18 months, for the more popular models because of COVID. The whole entire supply chain was disrupted, and things and even when cars came in, because of the chip shortage, certain features were not available. So speed to market is important, but then again, the mode of transportation, right? I think at the end of the day, this whole idea of having ASEAN as a manufacturing bloc, if I were to use that word, is good, because then, within ASEAN itself, which I'm going to talk a little bit about later, the next couple of slides, there are still challenges. But at least I think, we are a peninsular ASEAN, we are a lot more close. So for example, coming to this one, like I said, if you look at, Indonesia, where Indonesia sits there, and then there's Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, there's still that gap, right? But for a country like Indonesia and Philippines, where you have as much as 50% of the world's nickel raw material, how do you then move that? We know that Indonesia alone is already a few thousands of islands, right? And how do you move that product? So again, physical movement can be solved with infrastructure, but we should not forget about technological, where we need to be also looking at how to move information. So that part is equally important, in terms of supply chain. So again, like I said, today, services available for trucking all the way up to China, right? From Singapore all the way up to China, but still we lack that connectivity, or a true connectivity between ASEAN and Indonesia and the Philippines. So we need to look at how we want to integrate the entire Peninsula ASEAN with Indonesia and Philippines, so that it becomes more connected. We need to look at the infrastructure. We need to look at perhaps sharing some infrastructural knowledge of how we move products within those countries, right? So again, that's why I'm saying country infrastructure is very important. We must build ports, airports that meet the requirements. Again, having natural resources is only one thing, but how do you bring that resource, that material to the manufacturing site? Now, we all know the manufacturing of ICE in Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia is quite mature, but this EV is still very new for all of us. We are still exploring. The requirements are very different. So we need to be building infrastructure in support of that move, right? So again, there must also be correct equipment. So one of the things that I believe a lot of people look at is how to scale up quickly. And one way is working with contract manufacturers. So with the EMS industry, electronic manufacturing services industry, that's how companies like Apple, Dell, Dyson, they scale up so quickly because they work with contract manufacturers who not only do manufacturing, but they also do original design, ODM. And I think that this is something that most people can look to moving forward, right? So again, IT, why is it important? Because it is all the time we hear people say, oh, shipment got stuck at the port, or customs clearance issues. Those are the things that we don't talk about, but the digitization as well as the digitalization of the process flow, I think that's very, very important, all right? So macro challenges, trade compliance. I think this is something that we need to look at. Do away with paperwork. but move towards digitization. Then we talk about custom compliance, right? Because in custom compliance, we are already ASEAN, intra-ASEAN. I think things can be worked out fairly easy. And because it's intra-ASEAN, the duties and tariffs will not be so much of an issue. But if we were to buy from countries outside of ASEAN, then we may have a challenge, right? So again, border infrastructure, operational efficiency, even with the trucking that we're talking about today, we still have multiple levels of custom declaration from country to country, changes of chassis, changes of trucks. So we still haven't reached that level of efficiency yet. I think with this, we are moving in the right direction, right? So macro challenges, we talk a little bit. Let me just very quickly run through that. Resilience, we need to look at the weakness of global supply chain, right? We know during COVID, many things happened. There were a lot of unexpected disruption. How do we diversify to meet those challenges, right? So we'll have to leverage on data. We have to leverage on the planning, as well as how to manage those sources. So I think this is something that within ASEAN itself, we have enough capability to be able to manufacture and to be able to support each other, right? So sustainability, I think this is something that most of us talk about, but we don't, really put into practice. And I'd just like to quickly talk a little bit about this. Everyone talks about lean production, lean management. Lean, of course, is the minimization of waste. But then at the end of the day, keeping the supply chain within a small geography helps in reducing the carbon footprint. But we also have to talk about how to minimize waste and also the disposal, right? So those are the few macro challenges as we move towards EV production. We also have to talk about all these possibilities, right? Now, the last slide for me, we just have to be very clear when we are doing all these supply chain that we have to look at lead time planning. We have to keep the source close to the manufacturing sites, and maybe manufacturing is not the right word. It should be called an assembly site. So the Singapore site to assemble the Ioniq 6 is an assembly plant, not so much a manufacturing plant. And then again, how do we develop the supplier base to ensure that product or materials get to the assembly sites on time? Now, the other thing that we want to talk about, speed versus cost, as well as proper packaging, because, once you pack it properly, you prevent damage, the wastage is a lot less, and therefore much greener in the long run. The last part, of course, I come back again here will be on the paperwork. I think this is something that we really, really need to help ourselves to make sure that we are integrated in our approach to custom declaration and custom clearance within ASEAN itself. So that's it. That's all I have. Pak Gautama, thank you.
Thank you, Pak Eddie. Because of I canceled the discussion session, I'll ask you one question, only one question.
Sure.
Pak Eddie. Listen carefully. Our audience, please listen carefully. My question is numbers. Okay. My question numbers. I hope you give me numbers as well. Okay. I give you the facts now. From Batam to Singapore, one container costs more than 800 US, which is more than Singapore to Los Angeles. I repeat, from Batam to Singapore, less than 20 kilometers, costs more than Singapore to Los Angeles. Now, within the ASEAN framework, okay, logistical supply chain aspect may make or break the idea of ASEAN hub. Okay, may make or break. So my question is, without much number in front of you now, being a member of Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport in Singapore, and as the former managing director of the logistic company, do you think ASEAN countries can integrate themselves efficiently such that their cost of manufacturing and the duration of manufacturing, okay, there are two variables there. how much make you transport all these things around the countries, around the islands, and the time to make one car, vis-a-vis China, okay, whether the idea by our leaders, again, ASEAN leaders, not only Indonesian leaders, ASEAN leaders, is practically, technologically feasible. Give me a yes or no, or probability, how many percent chance?
Well, I think Pak, the idea of an integrated ASEAN supply chain can become a reality, and I would believe that most ASEAN leaders, if they put their will to it, then they can open up. They certainly can open up the borders, and I think to your point, why is it so expensive to have a container from Batam to Singapore? It's because of demand and supply. There is not enough demand and supply between Singapore and Batam, and the reason is because there aren't that many sailings on a daily basis. So that's the first challenge. Now, however, if we are talking about building an infrastructure, let's focus solely on EV, and let's say that we have assembly plants or manufacturing plants in Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia. We connect all these countries. What we then can do is have what we will call a milk run. Now, why is China successful? Because it's one country, no borders, no nothing. So when they trade between one province to another, there is no such thing as custom declaration. There's no such thing as cross-border. It's just going from one location to the next location. Now, most people will know BYD is vertically integrated. They have everything. They do everything themselves.
Yes,
right?
Eddie, because of time, basically the two variable is China is above everybody else in terms of the cost and the duration of building a car, right? Because of efficiency on the interconnectivity between their supply chain. So back to my question, can ASEAN countries, given their geographical challenges and the challenges on the technological and cost, can make it in your instinct, because you don't have numbers now?
No, I don't have. Yeah, you're right. But to run a truck between Singapore and Malaysia, or even up to Thailand, we're only talking about maybe up to about $500, right? So the answer is yes, we can if we want to. But I think the collective ASEAN members have to break down the barriers, so that they can lower the cost. Today, a lot of that $500 cost is because we need to do multiple custom clearance as we go along. If we have one integrated, we
Eddie,
could.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm happy to hear from you. You say yes, subject to the leaders get their act together.
Yes.
Thank you, Eddie.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that. Yeah. Because of time, I wish I can talk to you more. Because of time, we have 3 more speakers to go. I'm sorry to cut you off. I invite our Myanmar friends, speakers. He is a former managing director of the Myanmar Railway. He's engineer Bai Min. He's got all kind of titles here. Are you there, Bai Min?
Yes,
yes, good. The floor is yours. Please stick to your 15 minutes. We have 2 more prominent speakers to come. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you show your slides?
I can show, but here is Look at that. Sharing. Just a moment.
Okay, floor is yours.
Yes. Just a moment. I'm trying to present. Can you see that? No, yet.
Yes, we can see you clear and we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Please.
So first of all, my name is Daniel. I'm the CEC and the chair of the review DD of the FED MES. And first of all, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to the FED MES and Myanmar for giving the chance to speak on behalf of the FED MES here in the seminar. and also especially to the President, Mr. Aumil, and also Secretary General, Mr. Suzumi as well. I'd like to mention that special thanks to my KL Council. I'm working here in the KL, so for the giving me a chance to present here in the office. And also I make a special gratitude and highlight to my late father, who is the Chief Engineer of Civil Engineer in the same railway. I have a lot of intelligent experience, not with the logistic thing, but anyways, I was assigned to speak here. So thank you very much. So let's go to the points. Although I mentioned here some to save the time, I like to present with these figures. So you see that sustainability is very important everywhere in the world. Even you think about the supply chain and everything, if you are not the model for sustainability, even you ask about just to the gentleman from the Singapore that sustainable is so crucial in the world. So that in related with this, some of the countries, including the Malaysia, I'm working in Malaysia. So what is our people's willingness and to spend money for user-friendly these products. And I have a more mention on the previous time because I want to save the time. And I mentioned here only for all the important factors of the sustainability. And also we have to think about even supply chain. We have to think about the engineering factors. What are they designated for the technically know about all the things. We have different types of battery charge system. Here mentioned, I don't want to go very much detail. Type 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and then we have to consider it to get a real solution for all the sustainable solution for supply chain.
I'm sorry, By Min, sorry, we cannot see your slides. Can you share screen?
Let me check. Sharing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, we can see you. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Sorry. So that this is the type of the charging system is very important for all the EVs. All the EVs have to be used, not the fuel or something to fill up. So that these types are very important. How we have to energize with this kind of different types, which will be more suitable and reliable for all the ASEAN level. It should be our standard one. And then this is one of the things not considered for up to this moment. Is also very important for these things. And also the different types of IEC type, combo, CHAdeMO, something like these are the things to be considered technically. And if you look at the power packs and like very simple diagrams, like said, EVR, right? Very, very simple diagrams. But be careful that when I learned with all the international, all the informations and so on, that these vehicles are based on the batteries. We cannot forget it. Batteries, these are sensitive with the temperature as well. Technically, have to be, we must be well that we have a different weather. Like our country and Singapore and Malaysia is quite different. For us, a country of Myanmar is very like a tall structure from northern part to southern part, very long. Some very hot temperature, like in the southern part, and then the northern part is a chill cold, like a Himalaya, edge of Himalaya. So that the batteries, colder place is no problem, but for the hotter place, the temperature dependence and is also combustible at any moment due to when you keep in the sunshine, and this is one of the things to be considered for this production as well. So I'm not going very much detail with these other things, These are the things for the cars, different cars, and also if you look at the Thailand government is also investing these are the things already studied, and also the electric vehicles are also very important to consider for these supply chain. If you look at the Myanmar, we are very late compared with the other friends like Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand, and then not so far away from the Cambodia and Laos and our something like Philippines. So that we are trying to develop the EVs even in our country, so that we are producing it, try to assemble it. But like you said, it's very considerate for our ASEAN model is to be very. We have to rationalize and think about it. What are the appropriate model to be bringing from the China is more suitable for the supply chain, or we have to produce it according to these resources we explained earlier as better, or we have to think about many things on to be considered. And besides that, I'm the transport specialist, not engineering for these logistic change. But you see that all the Singapore these logistic is very good hub for all mode of transport, including the buses and the train, and everything was compromised and in the one place, and they're trying to work with a world for all the passengers. So well organized. For the Myanmar is like a bit spread up. The country is so big, and we need not only the small car, we need a big bus for the transport some people going from here to way away. Then we have to think about the charging system is also very important. And you cannot think like other countries. We have for some problem with the electrifications. So we have to think a parallel consideration with the electrification is also very important for us. In conclusion, according to the mentioned situation, Myanmar will take a serious study on the ASEAN countries' development of EV and not limit to the international studies, put the suit with the current up and coming situation of Myanmar. Also, standardization of the important and seminal cars are also crucial to synchronize with our country's electrification master plan and development and technical and commercial issue in our countries. We will try to collaborate with the ASEAN countries to make to compromise through with the best solution for this logistics change and to produce car and use with conventionally in our ASEAN region. Thank you very much. Hello.
Yes, Bain, are you done?
Yes, please finish.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for enlightening us on Myanmar. Thank you. If you can stay still, later on we have a few minutes of discussions. Without further ado, I'd like to call one of Indonesia's most prominent engineers. Currently, he's a special advisor to our coordinating Minister of Maritime Affairs and Ministers. I welcome Professor Satrio Brojonegoro. Please, Pak, sit beside me. Thank you. The floor is yours, Pak. Thank you.
Time? How long? 15 minutes, maximum. 15.5 minutes. Maximum. Yeah, no, it's up to you. Can I have the slide presentation? Yeah. Okay, I'll be speaking about the ASEAN integrated EV manufacturing ecosystem political consensus. So let's see the first slide, please. Okay, EV adoption is inevitable. ASEAN country need to capture this momentum. Why EV adoption is inevitable? Because EV adoption has passed the tipping point, right? The tipping point means there's a time when you cannot avoid anymore because you have to be there and you have to go on. So as you can see in the slide, that the market share of EV car, it's shown increasingly significant. And in the year 2023, expected to be 14% of the total cars in the world. So based on the Bloomberg New Energy Finance study, EV sales passed, again I mentioned, the 5 to 10% tipping point. So adoption is inevitable. Yeah, we have to live with EV from now on. About 60% of cars sold globally will be electric vehicle, with more than $1 billion of market opportunity. So ASEAN nation can either be merely as consumers or seize opportunity to become global EV manufacturing hub. This is our challenge in ASEAN. So next, if we can understand our potential in ASEAN, ASEAN is well positioned to become the global EV manufacturing hub. At least there are three significant aspects. We have abundant natural resources in the EV critical minerals. ASEAN is rich in essential minerals for EV battery, mainly EV component. For example, we have 60% tin reserve in the world, with Indonesia number 2. 30% nickel reserve in the world, with Indonesia number 1. And 12% copper reserve in the world. With global and local players inventing in the battery value chain, you can see that Hyundai, CATL, and Indonesian IBC. The next aspect is the established automotive industry. Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines are among the large motor vehicle producers globally. Yeah, 3,000 plus of automotive factory in ASEAN, and 4.5 million ASEAN car production in the year 2022. So we have the robust supply chain, skilled workforce, and infrastructure availability to be converted toward EV production. The next aspect is the strategic location as manufacturing hub. Geographically, advantage position nearby China and India as largest EV and automotive market for exports. So with that, we have the established trade agreements internally and externally. Yeah, we have the ASEAN trade, free trade, and then with agreement. Yeah. Next. Okay. So what should ASEAN do? So ASEAN EV consensus need to be built step by step. First, we have to agree the significant role of EV adoption as part of ASEAN's effort in achieving net zero emission targets. Commit and applying policies to incentivize the EV ecosystem to become a global EV production hub. Third one is the push on the execution of cooperation and collaboration in the development of EV ecosystem. So, if we look at the political consensus ASEAN as global EV manufacturing hub, then let me just read the slide, please. Okay, if you look at the structure, yeah, in the top is the target of net zero and decarbonization, where EV is the core of decarbonizing transport sector. Then, within the structure, we have this EV ecosystem, include infrastructure and producer and consumer, leverage on country strength, critical minerals for Indonesia to build EV infrastructure, apply market-based incentive to build consumer awareness and adoption, apply attractive policies to build production capacity. So this for the EV ecosystem. For the standards, harmonization of regional standards, training and certification based on international standards. And then for research and development, technology development such as charging station and battery development. And then for the investment and financing, creating an enabling business environment and investment climate to attract investment. Then of course, people is also important, building the right capabilities and enable human capital development. So I think I will show some of the example that some of target of Indonesia, for example, is shown in this slide. Yeah, this Indonesian target like this. Next, we also have developed the ecosystem for two-wheel and four-wheelers. And you can see we have already the preparation. Next. Also projected to grow rapidly in Indonesia for two-wheelers and what's required for the investment from 2003 to 2025. On the right, you can see all the aspects that we need to prepare. Okay, next. In Thailand, we already have some plan, yeah, for the electrical vehicle development in Thailand. We have a 30 at 30 plan. Yeah, this is also the condition, the baseline condition in Thailand. Next. In Indonesia, we develop also a green ecosystem. We have the mineral resources on the left-hand side, and it will be used to produce EV battery, EV motor inverter, EV lightweight structure and assembly, and renewable energy for electric charging station. Next, we have the building integrated ecosystem for material, product, and energy technologies. From the left-hand side, you see the material, mineral resources. Right-hand side, you can see the component. Yeah, EV lightweight structure, EV motor, an inverter, and EV industry, battery, and EV charging station. On the bottom, you can see the renewable energy, wind power, wind turbine, and also the solar panel, and also the solar panel using all these mineral available in Indonesia. Next. Also, we have to look at the technology needed to manufacture EV. So this show the process, overall process. So each of the Asian country can participate, yeah, whether in the technology processing for EV, PV, CSP, or wind power, for example, because we need to develop the green energy ecosystem. Next. For EV battery, you can see again where the Asian country can contribute. We have shown here all the processes and the technology and the product, and even also the statement and investment process, yeah, including the estimated investment plan. Okay, next is for EV lightweight structure and assembly. So we can see the structure and we can develop the network of ASEAN where the country can contribute to produce this EV lightweight structure. Next. EV motor, inverter, and electric charging station. Again, we have the minerals. We have the technology, and of course we can have network among ASEAN country who will do what within this cycle of process. Next. Again, in Thailand, they already have a promotion package for EV. They have the 3 to 11 years of CIT exemption. Next. Again, in Thailand also they have a plan to promote EV part manufacture. Yeah, battery, traction motor, air conditioning system, and inverter on board charger. Next. So this is the last one. I would like to conclude that Indonesia welcome to deepen engagement to create new opportunity, particularly in following issues: problem solving and obstacle issue in various renewable energy deployment activity. Investment opportunity for EV battery, raw materials, green fields, right technology capability for green energy application. Yeah, building Indonesia material, product, and energy technology ecosystem, increasing material manufacturing efficiency through the technology and EV battery components, development and investment. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Pak. Don't go away first. Yes, thank you, Pak. Because of the method we do, we change a bit. We don't have much discussion. I have 3 questions for you. One of them is, come with 1 million rupiah price, if you answer correctly. Okay, whoever can answer here. No, rupiah. No, I have to cheer people up. People are sleepy now at 5:30. So the question is very, very simple. Primary grade 3 questions. By the way, Professor Satrio, he's the best engineering student in his year in the best technical school in Indonesia, ITB, Institute of Technology of Bandung. So we are very privileged to have him here. It's very hard to get him here actually. I've been calling him, cannot get him. So the question is very simple, Pak. There's an earth, there's a sun. The sun emits heat through frequency, through, okay? The question is very simple. How many % of the energy that hit the earth are bounced back? 1 million rupiah price. All of you can answer too.
How many %?
Yeah, sun emit lights, energy, heat to the earth. How many % of that energy that hit the earth bounce back?
Oh, bounce back. At least 50%.
Don't know. I need a number, but cannot be up and down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have some study.
You can give range, but 50 to
About-
60. You cannot say bottom up,
About-
bottom out.
The latest data I read a few years ago is about 67%.
7%.
Yeah.
Any one of you? Pak Robert? 1 million rupiah. All are PhD in here, professors in here. Robert said 99%. 95, Pak Ricky? Suchi? Young engineers? We have a lot of young engineers here. How many percent? 95. Cindy, engineers? 95. Adit? How many percent? 95. Pahaudi? 80. The answer is all of you are wrong. Because if the energy reach the earth are not bounced back 100%, the earth will get heat up. The earth is not getting heat up. Okay? So this is the first question. All fail. Okay, second question, thermodynamics. He's a mechanical engineer. I want to test his 3 laws of thermodynamics. We have to talk engineering terms, be 3 hours talking economics. Thermodynamics, his specialty is. Now we know the amount of heat going in and bounce back is the same, so the earth is not become a sauna, okay? Except the internal climate change, but more or less the temperature is the same, okay? So, but we do consume the energy, all of us. And it comes from sun, we take energy, chemical processes, mechanical processes, okay? What happened, now the question is, what happened from the energy from the sun compared to those that bounce back? What are the differences? The amount is the same, otherwise the earth heat up. So the amount of energy coming in, bounce back is equal, 100% equal. So what happened to the energy? Actually, I give the answer already. So what happened to the energy? We use up the energy. Plant using the energy. This sea, ocean use the energy. Animal use the energy. Light, all this energy. What happened to that energy? From what we receive to those that bounce back. The quantity-wise, they are the same.
Yeah, the total same, conserve, right?
Yeah.
So once we use the energy, consume the energy,
Yeah.
the plant also,
Yeah.
still the remaining energy caused the global warming. Global warming.
Global warming. This
Yeah.
bounce back. Or this on global warming side. My question again, the energy coming in, energy coming out, the quantity, they are the same.
Same.
Otherwise, the earth got heat up very fast, right? But the energy being consumed by all kind of life beings,
Yeah.
right? What happened to the energy that we receive compared to energy that bounce back? Are they changing shape?
Yes.
See, the first law of thermodynamics say energy cannot be created or destroyed. I hope every politician understands this first law.
Yeah.
Money cannot be created or destroyed. Okay? You have to manage. So the conservation of energy, first law of thermodynamics.
Yeah.
I almost give the answer now. So what happened to the energy that we receive, Earth receive, compared to those emitted? Young engineers.
Change,
Huh?
become heat.
Let me answer.
Yes. Who name yourself, please.
Amit from Myanmar.
From Myanmar. Okay.
Yeah. This prospect is 30% of incoming radiation absorbed by the atmosphere, and 30% reflect to the space and bounce back.
Yeah, in terms of the processes, but in terms of the form of the energy, the lady say, more or less right now, the form change. Okay? the foam coming in and coming out chamber, but the quantity-wise, emit out from Earth is the same. So the question is, what are the differences? What are the foam differences? See, the answer almost there, 99% answers there already. But anyway, to cut, because of time, I give you the answers. You can check in your thermodynamics. What happened is, they kick in the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy always increase in a closed form. So you take out all the universe, our energy actually quantity-wise the same, but the entropy increase. What's the entropy? It's dispersed, okay? Chaos, philosophically speaking. So the energy quality we receive, intensity, and those that emit, they are of different entropy. No one get it? I saved my 1 million rupiah. Thank you, Pak. I appreciate it. Thank you. So now let's call for the third speaker, the final, our friend from Bangkok, from Thailand, Lieutenant Colonel Tong Kang. Sorry if I don't pronounce the name correctly. Kochai Len Tong, doctor. He's the lecturer at the Chulalongkorn Royal Military Academy, Thailand. Colonel Tong Kang, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, the floor is yours, please.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for introducing me. So I would like to share my screen now.
Okay, the floor is yours. Can you share your slides?
Okay, give me a second. You got my screen?
Not yet. Yes, we got it. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, give me a second. It's not full screen yet. Give me a second. Right, okay.
Yes,
Sorry about
please.
that.
Go ahead.
Okay. I try to get a full screen, but just give me a second. Okay, I think I will move on, if you don't mind. Okay, so I will talk and discuss about the supply chain dynamics and also the market opportunities in the ASEAN EV integrated manufacture. First, I would like you to see this one. Is on the left-hand side is the overall picture first about the EV sales and the penetration. So this slides, I would like to you to look at the big picture first. And then if you look at the right-hand side picture, you can see that for the global oil demands and also the market share. I think the slide is not moving. Sorry. Okay. So and the next slides that you can see that we have the global and oil demand and also the EV market share on the left-hand side. This try to say that the world is moving toward to the EV. And if we try to just focus on the region, that we can see that China almost the half of EV vehicle in the world right now. Let's take a little bit deeper about the EV passenger cars. This is back in 2020 information. If you look at the Norway, actually, and the Iceland is the biggest adoption of the EV cars. And on the right-hand side, again, if we try to get the numbers, so you can see that the big chunk of the EV sales is in the China, next to then Germany and also the US respectively. So this one you can understand now how the world moving to the EV. So let's take a little forecast about the passenger EV market. So it seems that the price of the battery is moving downward. And if we try to look at the company itself, which is on the right-hand side, so you see that the China and also Korea, Japan is the biggest company that produce the battery. So that means they have all technology that all the ASEAN countries we don't have, even though we have the raw material. So we have to focus on the research and development, or for the shorter term, we can do collaboration between these big companies from China, Japan, and also the Korea. So this is I just want you to just take a look on the left picture is a tuk-tuk. We try to develop actually it's a EV tuk-tuk. So for the information on the right hand side in Thailand, so the 98% dominated by the ICE internal combustion engine technology at the moment. So now I would like to go a bit deeper that we use for the battery technology. This is the whole supply chain that you might have seen from the previous presenters already. But in the global scale, the biggest sources of raw material come from the South Africa. The country is named Congo. And then the rest of the world try to produce, for example, Indonesia is also the biggest producer for the raw material. But if I try to get the three key minerals in the EV battery share for the global, so we have lithium, we have cobalt, we have nickels. So you can see that our ASEAN country able to dominate or control the whole raw material except the cobalt. That there is a lot in the South Africa. So this picture is I try to show you the how Indonesia and nickel mine production that try to produce in this world and compare to the rest of the world too. That you can see the number from 2018 to 2022. The number is increasing year by year. And I would like to skip this one. Okay, so I get back to these slides. This slide, I try to tell you that not only ASEAN, that we try to do the integration of the EV manufacturer, but the other country, like the big country like America, they try to do this one too. So they try to, they don't have the raw material or any middle source of production, but they try to do the cell production instead to produce the automaker. This is the America strategy at the moment. And you can see that only two big countries has most EV adoption. And when you compare to the income level, so that means the rich country able to support all the mostly EV car. And this is again, I try to show you that the share of the cars that sold in China by price range. So they have so many price range with a wide range of the price, so they can penetrate any market in the ASEAN or around the world. So they can sell with the cheap price, also the high price as well. And comparing to the size of the city in China, so I just want to give you the ideas how the city from the town to make a city, they use the EV. This is the EV sales in the ASEAN country. So you can see that Singapore, Indonesia, and Thailand also the big market for the EVs. And if you look at by brand, so MG probably the most big penetration rate in Thailand. So come to the point of the question that the organizer gave me. So let's take a look. Let's take a look about the EV challenges in the ASEAN country. So from my point of view, I think that we have about 5 things that we might need to consider about the EV challenge. One is the high cost of battery. The battery now is so expensive comparing to the other part. So probably we have to find a way to reduce the cost without sacrificing performance. And the second one is the limited available of raw material. So as I tried to show you previously, it seems that our ASEAN country have a raw materials, but not all of them. So how we going to deal with this one with the limited supply? And the third one is we lack of charging infrastructure. So I just talked with my colleagues from Brunei, Jerusalem. They said they have very good policy and planning in Brunei. So a lot of Brunei people use EV, but they prefer to drive to the other country, for example, in Malaysia. But unfortunately, in Malaysia, at some part that connect to Brunei, they don't have the charging infrastructure. Probably this is another problem that we might need to solve together between ASEAN countries. And the fourth one is that we have a different standard for the EV. So for example, in Thailand, we have our own standard that developed from the ISO, and some countries also have their own standard too. Probably we need to harmonize our standard, especially the ASEAN or the AFIO can propose this one, that we can create the ASEAN EV standard to implement and to manufacture and also implement within the ASEAN countries. And also the last one, we lack of the skilled workers. This is really important. So our knowledge in the university, basically we apply mostly on the ICE technology. But now everything almost changed, that we move toward the EV technology. So probably in the university, in the vocational school, probably have to change the course and the syllabus toward to new technology. And when we try to discuss what is challenge to us for the EV integrated ASEAN supply chain and also the logistics, I also think about the component sourcing. So we have to ensure that our ASEAN countries, members, have a stable local sourcing. And the second one is about the supply chain connectivity. So we have to create streamline logistic and also the connectivity that can move smoothly. And the third one is the battery production. Probably we have to, the government have in the ASEAN country have to join and establish the robust battery infrastructure. This is really important because if the car has no battery, it seems that the people has no leg to walk or no energy to move on. And the fourth one is the charging infrastructure. So probably we have to develop and redevelop a comprehensive our infrastructure network. And the last one is the same as previously, is skill workforce. So probably we might need to invest in the upskill, reskill, and also the new skill in training and development for the EV technology. This is my last slide. So if we try to create the policy and planning for our member. So what we going to do about this one? So first, I recommend that we might need to collaborate in region. So we have to have a harmonized policy across the ASEAN country. Even though I understand it's very difficult to apply in the beginning, but I think it's a must to do if we try to integrated manufacturer within the ASEAN country. And the second one, we might need to create the incentives for the localization. Probably we have to connect with the international financial banking that able to provide financial support for the local component production. And the third one is to develop the infrastructure. This is also really important. So probably all Ministry of Transport and also Ministry of Industry that getting involved with the EV manufacturer might need to have a plan and build a comprehensive charging network. And the fourth one is trade facilitation. Probably we have to work together to develop the streamlined custom procedure for efficient logistics, which is really, I think at the moment is good for now, but we can do it better than we usually do. And the last one is workforce training. So probably we have to, the government might need to subsidize the people who invest themselves in the new skill development. That's it for me. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Colonel Tong Kang. Thank you so much. Thank you. I have one question for you before I close it. Question for you is about the chemistry of chemistry. Okay, you're not listening wrongly. It's chemistry of the lithium battery. Okay, we know that nickel is to make cathode, negative side. Anode is made of graphite. The chemistry electrolyte use lithium. Today, the technology has been developed into solid state. Again, in chemistry term, solid state. And later on, there'll be a sulfur lithium where the nickel going to play the role. That will be 5 years down the road. The key point here is a energy specific density. Okay. Are you familiar with the energy specific density for lithium battery today?
Not really.
Okay, so I don't talk about the chemistry. I'm talking about now today on the manufacturing of that. Manufacturing today, Indonesia embarked on a joint venture. It's about $9.3 billion lithium battery production. Okay, LFP, lithium ferrous phosphate battery is I think it's one of the largest in the world to support this initiative of ASEAN integrated EV hub. Let me repeat, integrated hub of EV is the idea of ASEAN leaders. We are the engineering organization. We're responding to that to provide a technical platform to make it possible or not possible, right? That's why we're here today. And one of the main challenges is, Colonel Tongkang, I want to ask you these questions. If the energy mix to charge the battery of EV car, okay? And the way I did a calculation in my term of reference compared to diesel car, if the energy mix produce more than 520 gram CO2 per kilowatt hour, you moving problem from A to point B with entropy increase, even worse, right? So today, the critics say that actually we engineers are playing moving games, moving problems, because the energy mix still above 520 grams per kilowatt hours. Do you think, my question to you, because you're military, you're a lecturer, you're engineers, do you think the energy mix in ASEAN can afford an integrated model that we can sell it to ourselves, such an ambitious projection? Indonesia project to have what, 23 million cars in 7 years' time. And Thailand, everybody else had to be, electrical vehicle. But the key point is the energy source is not addressed. We just taking the current energy or you reduce the carbon, while the ICE machine having increasing efficiency as well. So now we're talking about decarbonization program. Do you think we can achieve 520 gram per kilowatt hours? Again, I repeat, engineer will give numbers, like blood pressure. I cannot say high blood pressure. I have to say 140, 90, and then you got worried. Or I said 200, you start more worry. So I give you numbers now. 520 grams CO2 per kilowatt hours. Do you think the current infrastructures of source of electricity can give lower carbon output than that next 5 years, 2030, 5 to 7 years? Just yes or no?
Yes, I think I agree.
It can be done or not?
Yeah, it can be done.
Can be done. Meaning the ASEAN leaders must get their act together. So, but I thank you for your confidence. Okay, thank you, because we at the time. I'll talk to you again. I'll see you in Bali.
All right, okay, I see you. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Cornell. Okay, let me close. I'd like to invite our Secretary General, Professor Bambang Guritno, to come to give closing remarks. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, moderators, distinguished speakers, and all participants of this afternoon webinar. I would like to thank and congratulate to organizers of the Asian Engineering Business Summit who successfully organized this second FGD event in this afternoon. The IVO Committee and the management of the Institution of Engineers Indonesia for the support and endorsement. We warm gratitude to ladies and gentlemen, participants in this second FGD as part of ASEAN Engineering Business Summit. After having several speakers delivered their presentation, we came to an end to the closing event where I had made several takeaways from Mr. Made Danatangkas from the Automotive Institute of Indonesia, pointed out the three key drivers to grow EV improve global competitiveness and EV integrated supply chain. While the challenge faced to develop the EV ecosystem, number one is market acceptance, second, global environment, and the third is customer protection law. Mr. Danatangkas, at the end of his presentation, provided his insight on how to further develop the industry by implementing the integrated supply chain strategy from the upstream, intermediate and downstream industry all the way down to customers. Then the second speaker, Mr. Nasruddin Hashim, from the Automotive, Robotic and IoT Institute, Malaysia, disseminated the vision of national automotive policy as follows. Number 1, supply chain integration. Number 2, local manufacturer development. Number 3, engineering capabilities. 4, latest technology trends. And 5, sustainable development. Mr. Nasruddin also mentioned the roadmap to become global vendors in this EV industry. The third speaker, Professor Nyoman Pujiawan from the Institute Teknologi 10 November, Surabaya, presented that the EV supply chain is less complex than internal combustion engine vehicle. We also learned from Tesla that they are not only playing in the automotive business itself, but also involved in energy generation and storage, solar, battery, and charging system. A good thing to learn on how we create supply chain strategy in this EV ecosystem. Then Mr. Eddie Seng from Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, Singapore, explained the supply chain is not only about the physical information, but also talking about the planning, the importance of information, as well as the use of digitalization and digitization to be able to provide optimized supply chains model. Then the next speaker is Engineer Ba Min, former Managing Director Myanmar Railways, spoke that the projection of Asian EV market and current EV trend in Myanmar. Then he mentioned in the Myanmar perspective, the focus is not only for the EV, but also the provision of energy, including renewable energy in the country. And then second last, Professor Satrio Sumantri Brojonegoro from Indonesia presented the ASEAN integrated EV manufacturing ecosystem, political consensus. Professor Satrio in his speech encouraged the EV adoption is inevitable. ASEAN countries need to capture the momentum to be global EV manufacturing hub. Professor also said that Indonesia is abundant of natural resources for raw materials. It is more realistic and more economically viable to build the EV manufacturing with integrated supply chain and logistics strategy. And then the last speaker, Lieutenant Colonel Tongkar of Thailand, presented the supply chain dynamics and market opportunity in Asian EV integrated manufacturing. As Thailand is hub of or center for internal combustion engine manufacturing in ASEAN, it will give opportunities also to us, Thailand, to switch and adapt to enter and grow the EV business progressively. Okay, then kindly allow us again to express our deepest gratitude to the organizers, moderators, and distinguished speakers for your great contribution to the FGD, supply chain and logistical aspect in an Asian integrated model. This topic is one of the contemporary engineering issues in Indonesia and ASEAN, of course, and from PII perspective, this kind of event is our commitment to continue encouraging our Asian engineers to continuously contribute their thoughts and ideas to the society, nation, and the country keep updating their knowledge and developing their professionalism. We also would like to extend our invitation to all speakers and participants to join the Engineering Business Summit. Will be held hopefully on August or late on September 2023, yeah, to further elaborate and discussion of the EV ecosystem in the ASEAN, which consists of seminar and exhibitions. So this second FGD is now officially closed. May Allah, God Almighty, always guide and protect all of us, our step in realizing our common goals. Wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Pak Dennis, for your insightful words. Thank you, Pak Bambang, for the insightful words. Thank you. Your support and guidance are invaluable to our shared vision for an ASEAN integrated electrical vehicle ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude this Engineering Business Summit, let us carry the momentum forward and work together to transform ASEAN into a leading regional hub for electrical vehicles. Through collaboration, innovation, and determination, we can create a sustainable and efficient future for transportation and manufacturing. On behalf of the Engineers Indonesia, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to all the speakers, participants, and organizers who have made this summit resounding a success. Your commitment and contribution are deeply appreciated. Thank you all for joining us today, and we wish you a safe journey home. Thank you.